Just the other night, New York Islanders defender Noah Dobson left the ice with what looked to be like a pretty severe leg injury. In this replay coming up, I want you to focus on that red circle. You can see he's going to be skating into the corner when he gets hit up high and folds back onto that knee. I have a better look for you right here. You can see there's a lot going on with that leg, a lot of twisting while he's folding and falling onto it. My initial impression was this reminds me a lot of the Tank Dell injury from this year in the NFL or Nick Chubb's from last year in the NFL, but I don't think this injury is quite at that level. So what's happening here is we have a knee hyperflexion while our tibia is externally rotating. You can see the front of that tibia is currently facing the camera while the anterior or front of his thigh is pointed up and towards the ceiling. And our knee really isn't supposed to bend with our tibia externally rotated like that. Now, it's very hard with this sort of mechanism to predict what's actually going on here, and the NHL really doesn't do us any favors by just listing this as a lower body injury. But if I had to make any sort of prediction, I would say the MCL is probably going to be most at risk for a tear in this sort of situation. And this is mainly because of where it is. It's on that medial side of the knee and then where it inserts. So when we have that tibial external rotation, you have to remember the insertion of the MCL is going to rotate as well. So now the line of pull is going to be shifted, and then pair that with the hyperflexion, and now it's going to be experiencing a lot of stress and longitudinal forces that could lead to it tearing. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% what happened because there are a ton of structures in your knee. I'm just saying this is the one that I think is mainly going to be affected. A couple other structures we could see involved here are, for one, that lateral meniscus, which you can see a lot better in this top-down view. Tends not to do well with that compression and twisting force. So we could see a tear here, even though usually we see the medial meniscus injured more often. And also that PCL or ACL, which also tend not to do well with that twisting and bending. The ACL obviously being injured a little bit more often. And finally, we could see some sort of tibial plateau fracture or maybe a lateral epicondyle fracture. Definitely some bone bruising on that lateral side of the lower leg that we usually wouldn't see in this area with a hyperflexion mechanism, but because of the external rotation, it actually puts that lateral side in the area to be crushed. Now, some good news here in that Dobson was actually able to get up and skate off the ice, which means he was putting pressure on that leg, indicating that it might not be a major injury where 3 or more ligaments are torn, but it doesn't rule out the chance of there being 1 or 2 ligaments torn or any meniscal or bone structural damage. But like I said before, these are just my thoughts and predictions on the injury based off what we're seeing. The extent of the injury is not confirmed yet, and I think they have him listed as day-to-day with no schedule to return as of yet. So let me know what you think about this injury, what you think it might be in the comments below, as well as don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and check out my channel for more injury breakdowns.